Good morning, everybody. It's Jean Marie. Thank you for joining me. If you're new here, thank you for tuning in for the first time. I am going to finish off my September Bargain Bead Box. I expect that my February box will be here probably today or Monday, hopefully. So I'm going to do my last project here with my January box and try to get my show and tell out very soon. But the last project I'm going to work on here is a double strand necklace with this handmade little star component. There is another YouTuber. Her name is Samantha something, I can't remember. But she does a lot of work with these little heart-shaped components. And I actually saw this on her channel, so, you know, if you want to tune in and check her out. I really wish I could remember what her name was. Hopefully by the end of this I will have it for you. If not, I'll put a link in the bottom. But, yeah, she does beautiful, beautiful work with all kinds of little components. So I saw this and I thought it would be really cute with this last project of mine. So that's what I'm going to work on. Okay, so let's get started. I am going to set this one aside. I'll bring it back up real quick so you can see it. Try to get it to focus. Okay, and you can see my wire wraps are not beautiful, but they do the job. And I am going to wire wrap in a different color with you guys, just to so you can see it a little bit better as I work. This back piece here is a solid ring that we got. I want to say in the box, one of our boxes, but I'm not even sure. I think I might have bought it. I have a really big bag of them, so I'm thinking maybe I got them from Amazon. But you could use anything. In her videos, she actually says, you know, go to the hardware store and buy a washer, copper ring. Works just as fine. And you could probably just buy one, so you know, as opposed to a whole bag. And yeah, but anyway, I digress. So here we go. I am going to take one of these copper rings, and the size of this one, if I was to measure it with my inches mark, is just a bit over a ½ inch from the outer diameter. I would say it's real close to a ½ inch, but just a little bit over. And it honestly doesn't matter which size you use. You're gonna you know, if you're going to make bigger components, you're going to need a bigger ring anyway. If you want to add it in more, say you wanted to do like tall ones in between the shorter ones, you'd need a much bigger ring. So honestly, it'll all depend on what you yourself are using. So anyways, let's get started. I'm going to use 20 gauge wire. And I'm going to pull off 1 3/4 inch. That is the size I'm using. Again, if you wanted to make longer ones, you would use a bigger size. If you wanted to make shorter ones, you would use a shorter length. But for the size I'm using, I'm doing 1 3/4. I am going to use, try to straighten that out a little bit better, I guess. Not that it really matters. Okay. I'm going to use my 6-step bail making pliers. I'm going to take the second largest bail, and I'm going to do a wrapped loop around the end here, just like we would if we were making an eye pin. Whoop. Trying to look through the camera instead of what I'm doing. And you're just going to roll it around whichever way you work, until you have that little P shape that we all know and love. And we're going to go to the other end and do the exact same thing. If I can get a hold of it. And then when you have your two little P shapes, You see mine are not quite flat. I'm just going to twist it to get them in line with each other, just like that. Okay. And then going to the smallest part of my bail making pliers, or you can use the tip of your round nose. I'm just going to grab it somewhat in the middle and bring the two together. Just like that. So I have this little heart. You can see I didn't quite get mine, even. That's okay. I can go in and bring the longer one out a little bit. Nope. Bring my shorter one out a little bit. Bring my longer one in a little bit, and I can even them up. Okay. Not much more even. Well, I can't even talk this morning. I have not had enough coffee. Then I like to take my flat pliers and just come in here and kind of sharpen up the end a little bit, you know, give it a little more of a point, like that. Bring them back in, and here we have our little component. Easy peasy. We're going to need 7 of them. 5 for the necklace, 2 for earrings. Okay? And then I do like to bring in my hammer and block and my nylon hammer and just work harden them just a bit. It also helps get them nice and flat for you. Not flat like flattened out, but flat, you know, they're not wonky. So I can work harden them a little bit. So we're going to need 7 of these little components. Okay? So if you want to pause at this point, make your components, get them all done up at once. You will have all the components you need to work with afterwards. I do already have mine ready. I'm not going to do the whole entire piece with you. I'm going to work through a couple of them. That one came out terrible, but this is just a demonstration one. I'm going to use I have 24 gauge silver wire here. I would prefer 26, but I don't have any 26 at the moment. I have 24 in silver. So to show you what I'm doing, and I do want to work with the silver to show you that, this is what we're using. So I start off by going through one loop and the ring. And then I have this little tail to kind of hang on to. Okay, so I have something like this. And the loops are setting on the ring. I'm going to go back through the top. It's going to shift on me right now because it's not in place, but once you start getting them in place, they stay a little better. Okay, so I'm going to go back out through this top of this ring and across the top of that washer. I'm going to call it a washer just to, it's not, but that's okay. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is fiddly at first, getting that first one on, always is. The wire is very springy. Again, like I said, I would use a different wire if I had it. I mean, I could show you it in copper, but I think you'd have a... yep. Okay. Try something different. I'm going to go through here. Getting that first one attached. Such a pain. especially when your wire will not cooperate. Okay, I think I'm kind of there. I've got it lassoed a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to come back through. I am all fumble fingers this morning. You know what, guys? I'm going to get a different piece of wire. This one is just way too springy. Let me see if I can't find something that hasn't been manhandled to the point that it's... I have gold. Will gold show up all right on there? I think that will work. Alright, let me see what I can get up here. I don't need too much because I'm not going to do the whole entire thing with you, but I do recommend that you use one long piece to finish everything, not sections. And that was my little darling coming to say hi. Okay, let's try this again. See if we can't make it work. Gosh, my fingers just do not want to function this morning. Alright, we're going to go down through. This wire is much better, I say as it jumps out of my hand. Of course, I also don't really have that ring closed tight enough either. That loop. Alright, I definitely need to close that loop up a little bit tighter. I can see that because my wire keeps slipping through it. So, yeah, make sure your loops are closed good and tight. I'm going to spend 20 minutes just trying to get this wired. And the rest of it's easy. Alright, I think we have success. I'm really sorry, guys. Okay, we've got it lassoed now. I think we can continue. So we're going to go back up through. Come back in through the big loop. And I like to secure each one like 3 times. I like go around them like 3 times. So this is me 3. Alright, so there's 3. It is finally attached. If my camera would focus, it would be great. Okay, now we're just going to move on to this one. So we come back up through the bottom again. Through the big loop again. Only this time, we're going to bring it over to this side. Go through this one. Get that one attached. So now it's starting to look like something. I'm going to go around that one 3 times. So now we have 3 on this one. So we're going to go to the next one. Pick up another ring. Put it right beside that one. through. And you can do that before you hold your piece on if you want. Get your ring through, your wire pulled up through. Makes it a little easier to get in place. Put your component on. Okay. And then wire over this one. I don't think I have any of these closed tight enough, but it looks so. Clearly not. Oh, I apologize, guys. I should have had these all closed up nice and tight before I started. I didn't even check them. So to prevent wire slippage, make sure you close them. Oh my word, I don't know what is wrong with my fingers this morning. There we go. And come up through again. And back through this one. Make sure they're all nice and tight. Make sure your little component is sitting on top of your brass ring, your copper ring, whatever you're using. And come up again. And let's go down through this other loop. My wire does not want to go through. It's being very stubborn. There we go. Okay. So basically this is what you're going to do all the way through. You're just going to keep adding your rings. And hopefully you don't fight with it as much as I have been this morning. Come back through. It's like this wire has a mind of its own. Come back through. Go back down. Okay. I think you get it now. I'm not going to keep going because all I'm doing right at the moment is fumbling. So you can see there's a gap between these two. As you start filling up your ring, they will start pulling together. It's always going to be a little bit floppy like this, but if you pull your loops nice and tight, you can get a lot of that out of it. I try to pull tight after each wrap. Of course, working with it this morning, it's doesn't want to cooperate with me so well, but yeah. So basically that's all you're going to do with your 5 components is just wire them right to your ring, just going through the loops. You see how sloppy this one here is. I could try pushing them together a little bit better, but Probably not going to stay at this point because I didn't pull them tight enough. This one looks really good because it's pulled nice and tight. I can actually push them together and they look decent. But yeah, the goal is to make them look nice and neat, but you know, once you've done a couple of them, you'll actually start getting better at it. So maybe after you've gone around, when you get back to where you started, if you have some that you don't like the looks of, just unravel that end of your wire and, you know, and continue on again, like you're just adding them for the first time. That's what I would suggest if you're not happy with your first few. Yeah, just make sure you give yourself plenty of wire to work with. I don't know why my camera will not focus. There we go. But anyway, when you're done, you will end up with, I have no idea where I put it now. Story of my life. You will end up with this pretty little star component. This is the back side. Okay. All right. Now let's do some wire beading. I'm not going to attempt putting those other ones on in the camera because it's just too hard under the camera to do that. So let's get started. All right. I need my beading wire, tiger tail, whatever you want to call it. I call it beading wire usually, but I think most people call it tiger tail. This came in a 10 pack of different colors that I got from Amazon. So I'm just going to pull off about a foot, a little over a foot. I'll do my normal knot in the end because that way if I need to readjust for any reason, if I don't like the pattern on one end, I can, you know, if I've decided by the time I get to the end of it I want to add something else or take something out, all I have to do is cut off my knot and do the other end. I hope I cut off a long enough piece. I'm not even sure I did. I almost think I didn't. I think I might cut off a bigger piece than that, actually. I'm going to go closer to 18 inches, I think. I'd rather have more than to run out halfway through beading. That's very frustrating. Alright, so that's a much bigger piece. I can use the other piece on my inner strand anyway. Okay, so what I've got laid out here is, of course I've knocked it everywhere now, but that's okay. I've got 3 of our little copper bicone beads. Okay, so I'm going to put on 3 of those. And then I'm going to put on, I'm trying to remember if this is exactly right or not. I had it done once and then I messed it all up. So I'm going to put on the faceted rhodonite. I picked out just the purple crystals. These, well, they're kind of the lavender ones. I picked out just the lavendery crystals, and those are the only ones I'm using in it. Another faceted rhodonite, and then I'm going to put on, I only have 5 there, but I could have sworn it was supposed to be 6. Nope, maybe it was 4. Looks like it's 4 everywhere else. I apologize, I'm trying to remember. 4 of the, oh, I know why, because it's 6 on the inner strand. So 4 of these little bicones. So that's how we're going to start and end. 3, 1 little component section, and then 4. Okay, that's our start and end. From here on, it's going to be the faceted, so just like we started, the purple bead crystal, the faceted, and then it's going to be the 8mm, the 8mm, I think maybe the 10 rhodonite smooth beads that we got. I think they're 8, I can't really remember. And then we're going to do that faceted, crystal faceted again. Crystal faceted. Okay. Okay. And then again with the 4 bicones. And then we're going to repeat that whole segment of faceted. My kitty cat's very talkative at the moment. Crystal faceted. Get back here. The round rhodonite, and then again faceted, crystal faceted. Okay, so it's a pretty simple pattern here for the most part. Alright, now at this point I'm going to add 2 of the bicone beads and my pendant. I did already have a jump ring on it because, like I said, I've already put this together once and messed it up. So I just have a little 4mm jump ring on there. I'm going to slide that onto my wire. And then I'm going to repeat everything going backwards. So I'm going to start with the 2 bicones. Get the cat hair off my finger. One of my faceted, one of my crystals, one of my faceted, my rhodonite, and again a faceted, crystal, and faceted. And then we're going to need 4 bicones. And then continue the pattern again. Faceted, crystal faceted. Oop. Hang on to it, Shamari. The rhodonite round. These are so pretty. I love how much striation is in this one. It's really gorgeous. Okay. So again, with the faceted, crystal, and faceted. 4 bicones, and it looks like I lost a bead somewhere. Great. I'll steal that one for the moment. Oh no, it's right there. I see it hiding on me. Alright, so the 4 of these. Gosh, my fingers are just so fumbly this morning. I don't know what's on that one, but I got fuzz in the hole. And then we will end it with just 3 bicones. And the reason for for this being 3 on the end is to make the length for the inner layer match up. So this is what we've got. Kind of pretty. Let you look at it for a minute. Try to zoom in some so you can look at the pattern. Okay. So now I am going to pause for 1 minute because I need to go get a couple of supply items out, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got out my copper bead caps, clamshells. I am going to need 4, so I might as well just shake 4 of them out of there. Instead, I pick up one. Okay. And my crimp beads. These ones are a little bigger than the ones I normally use. These ones are, oh, it doesn't say. Sorry. So I only need 1 per end. Alright. So I'm going to take the end of my beading wire, like normal, and just stick on my clamshell. Grab my crimp. And just give that a little squeeze. Nice and tight on there so it's good and flat. Trim the end a bit. And bring my clamshell right up over it and close it. So, just like that. Okay. Now we are going to make sure everything goes down to the other end and there's no gaps and spaces. I like to pick it up and just shake it, let gravity pull it all down. I don't want to push it down because I don't want it to be stiff. I want it to have some fluidity. If that's even a word, I'm not even sure. I may have just made it up, but drop this clamshell down over it, and I always open up this end because I have to actually get down in there with my pliers on this one. Drop on my crimp. I prefer, well, I guess I was going to say I prefer my bent nose, but these ones are right here, so that's what I'm going to use. And give that one a squeeze and trim it off. Plus this process everybody knows pretty well. We've all strung some jewelry, I'm sure. Alright, and this piece is upside down and done. Okay, so now let's work on the inner strand. So I'm going to take that other piece of beading wire I had cut off earlier. These to the side. So on the inner strand, I'm going to start with, I think it's 8 of the bicone beads here. And this one is just going to be there's not going to be much change other than the amount of bicones on the end. This one will have 8, but it'll have 666 through the center of it. But this is just going to be the repeat of the faceted, the crystal, and the faceted, just the way we started and ended the other strand. Remember back here we only did that section like that as opposed to that section. So this is all we're going to do on this one, and then we're going to put 6 bicones in between. It'd be nice if everything wasn't covered in cat hair. Okay, so this is what we've got. Now we're going to do this component again right here, and another 6 of the bicone beads, and we're going to repeat that 5 times. All right, I'm not going to make you watch me bead this all up with 5 sets of these, so I will be right back. Okay, so I'm down to my the 5th and last segment of faceted crystal faceted. My cat is being annoying. Alright, And then we're going to put on the 8 bicones. And that is number 8. So this is our inner strand. Okay. So let's finish this one off. Bring these back in. My son has not been home for the past few days, and whenever he leaves, he takes his dog with him, and Jinx is very, very attached to Iris, and he has been calling for her. Alright, let's get that one on. Again, let everything drop down, let gravity do its magic. Cut that knot off. And drop on the clamshell and the crimp. Oops, bump the camera once or twice. Alright. And that completes our inner strand. Okay. Let's try to get you an idea of how it looks here now. So there we have that. Now at this point, I have these little go-go, I guess they're called go-go rings when they're shaped like this. The little offset rings. These came in a past box. You can use anything. You could just use a big jump ring. You could use, again, a washer if you wanted to, like a little thin copper washer. It doesn't have to be these. These are what I had. This is what I'm going to use. So I'm going to pull that down to here. I am going to attach each strand with its own separate jump ring. I have 8mm jump rings here for that. Mainly because of the depth of this little bead here is wide at this end, so I need something big enough to clear that. So at this point, I'm just going to attach. And the beauty of having done this once, you don't have to watch me trim all my jump rings. Okay, so we have that so far. Get them to lay together. And we're going to do the same thing over here for this one. I do apologize. My noisy cat. Come on, get in there. Okay, so there is that part done. All right. Try to keep the little centerpiece up top. Once everything's hanging, of course, it will pull itself back into place. But okay, so my chain, I cut 2 lengths of chain at, let me check just to be sure. I want to say 4 inches, but I can't really remember. Nope, about 4.5. 4.5 inches. Okay. And then I'm just going to take a smaller jump ring and catch my chain. I do have Rollo chain, but it's a smaller Rollo chain than what came in the box because mine is all gone. I've used it all. So pull this up here and hook in my chain. Make sure I've got everything laying correctly before I hook it in. There we go. Then at this point, all I do is put on one of our toggles. And I'm going to use this little 4mm to hook on the bar section. Because this little piece is pretty thin, I can get a 4mm on there. But for this piece, because it's really thick, I had to go up to a 6mm. And you could just use a 6mm on either end, it doesn't really matter. It's going to be at the back of the neck anyway, it's not like anyone's going to see that they're different, so I don't really care, but again, you do you. And our necklace is finished. So now we can work on a pair of earrings. So what do you think, guys? Do you like this one? I think it's really pretty. I think it's a good way to end this box. I say I've ended it. I did make a wire wrapped piece with those 2 little drops that we received. I'm sorry, I keep banging the camera. But I didn't finish my second one, so. So, yeah. I may finish it before my show and tell. Hopefully I will. I can show you it, I suppose. This part. All I have left to do now is to finish coiling the inner wire up and around. And then I thought I would dangle one of those ovals that we received, and maybe a couple little drops here, but like I said, I never finished it, so yeah, but it's pretty. If I could find the drop, I'd show you what I mean. Okay, so here's my drop. And I probably will get it done before my show and tell. I don't really have a whole lot more to go, but this is supposed to hang here. And then, like I said, I'd hang something here. I'm not even sure yet what. But, yeah. It's been a lot of work and I haven't finished it yet, so. My two ovals didn't match well enough to do earrings. They were way off in color-wise, so yeah, I thought I'd make a fancy little necklace with it. So, so let's bring in the earring. It might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I think it's kind of cute. This is my earring. Again, like I said, you could use anything for this piece up here. You could omit it altogether. You could make another heart component and go this direction with it. So there. Oh, what do I do with those extras? There. So they kind of went, you know, you could do something like that, wrap them together, hook this piece from your, you know, somehow. I mean, it's all, you could wire wrap them like this, then hang your ear wire from here and put your dangles on it. You can do whatever you want. That component is so versatile. So, yeah, just have fun with it. But this is what I came up with, and it's probably not, like I said, everyone's cup of tea, but I thought it was cute. It takes very few pieces. And there's a whole lot less wire work on this one. The only place I did any wire work on it is just to close my two little loops together here. I think I have it upside down. But just to close these little loops together after I hang my little piece here. Because you do have to have that on first, because it's going to be directly wired to the beads, and then you need to be able to slip it onto that. So you need to be able to open. You'll see. You need to be able to open it. Okay, so I got two ball head pins here that are in horrible shape, all bent to smithereens here. Try to straighten them as best I can. I don't even know if a bead will go down over that crimp. Let's see if we can straighten that a little bit. That's a little better. Okay, and honestly, this is easy peasy. It's just a bicone, one of your little faceteds, and a bicone. Take your round nose, come in there at the top of your crystal, bend over your plier, rotate up into that bend, up and over, rotate your plier, and bring your wire tail around so you have the start of a wire wrap. Okay? And you'll have a little space right there for wrapping. My bead keeps sliding up so you can't really see it, but there is space there. That was that first initial bend. Alright, so I like to take my bent nose and grab that loop. And take my other pair and just grab the tail and wrap. As much as it takes to fill in that gap. Should take 3 generally if you're using the tip of your round nose. And there we have our 3 wraps. Gosh, my camera does not want to focus. Okay. Trim that tail off. And there's one dangle for our earring. We're going to do the exact same thing with the other one. I didn't do a very good job picking matching beads, but that's okay. Actually, it doesn't really matter, does it? The whole necklace is made with mismatched ones. That's just the way they came. Okay, again. grab my loop. And wrap. A very short pin, so I have to be very careful not to wrap up too much on my end or I'll run out of pin. And then we have it. Okay, and there's our two dangles. So at this point we're going to, what did I do with my other little go-go bead? My earring. I know I had it out earlier because I saw it, but I'll just grab another one's easier. They're right here. And as I said, these came in a package once upon a time. Well, there we go. Fight and struggle, fight and struggle. Alright, so this is why I was saying we need to leave these not wrapped yet, because you're going to have to come in and open that up to drop your dangle on. And get back in there and close it back up. Open up your other one. Slide that dangle on. Okay. Now this is a little bit tricky because you do have to keep those out of the way while you're, I'm going to flatten those out a little bit, while you're wire wrapping this part right here. You got to kind of hold these, your little dangles that you just made, out of your way. And I had a piece of copper wire, but now it seems to be missing. Okay, so I have a little scrap piece of copper wire. I'm just going to poke it down through. Try to hang on to it the best I can here. And down through this side. Okay. Get it lined into place and everything so nothing's overlapping each other. Use your tools if you need to. Come back up through the opposite side again. And that tail piece is going to be in the way to begin with, but just try to work around it as best you can. We'll cut it and tuck it in a minute. Okay, so now I've got two wraps there. I'm going to do one more. Go down through. Try not to kink your wires. Tail piece is annoying. Okay, so one more. I'll come up through. And pull it good and tight. And back down through. And that's all you're going to have to do with it. It's really not that difficult. It's just a matter of holding everything and getting your wire through without crimping it, kinking it. Give it a little squeeze, pull it all together, do what you need to do, and if you would cooperate with me, I could show you what we've got. Gosh, my camera's having an awful hard time focusing. There we go. You see the 3 rings around it. So now I just go to the back side, and you're going to want to cut your wire so that you can kind of tuck it. You see I have a little tail there? Probably not. I'm going to take that and I'm going to just tuck it right down around my wire so there's no pokey. And then I'm going to come over to the other side where my tail piece is. And I'm going to try to cut it so that I can kind of tuck it down into the curve of these 2 rounded pieces. I know it's hard to see. It doesn't focus great. But anyway, I'm going to cut this tail off. I'm going to try to cut this tail off. Get these out of the way so I can show you what I'm doing. Okay, so you can see the tail piece I cut right here. I'm just going to try to turn it into the curve of those 2 pieces right there. And pull it all together. Give it a bit of a pinch. And then we've got our 2 hanging pieces, and we've got our area up here closed. Now all we need is a jump ring and our bead here. Let's see if I can find the right size jump ring for it. That's been my biggest problem with this, is I just don't seem to have enough 6mm jump rings. Plenty of 4, plenty of 8. Not enough 6. I just saw one there. I thought I saw one, but evidently I buried it. Well, I'm going to go big for the moment, rather than sit here and dig and dig and dig. Oh, I think I just found one, actually. I thought I had everything out. And I'm just going to hook this piece. Again, you could just hook your ear wire right here, call it an earring. Totally up to you. I'm going to put it on my little linky here, little bead. Close that up. And there is a front and a back to this, because you want to make sure your little wires that you cut and tucked are on the back side. So I am going to hold it down that way while I open up my ear wire to make sure I keep it in the right direction. And it's done. It's certainly different, but I kind of like it a lot. So what do you think, guys? Did you like this one? Get some of the stuff out of the way and lay them out together. So what do you think? Did you like it? So drop me a comment if you would. I appreciate it. Any questions, just, again, drop a comment. Let me know. And until next time, guys, Have a wonderful day. All right, I'm going to put this on a bust and let you see it, and then I'll let you go. Okay, here it is. So again, thank you guys for joining me. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. Yeah, hit the like button, drop a comment, all that fun stuff. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.